Yeah, that's throwing the gauntlet down. For those that don't know, it's official policy. Baltimore News, Toronto Star, Mexican and Canadian troops will be used here. Then, 2 months ago, they had a drill in Florida with troops from 11 Latin American nations to assist the U.S. during a terror attack, doing beach landing drills. And Colonel Craig Roberts, his nephew, was at West Point, and the general came through, former General Wesley Clark. No, it wasn't Wesley Clark. It was the former drug czar, McCaffrey, and said, we're going to use foreign troops to quell Americans. And now it's mainstream news, and they're having Ardent Sentry and these others, and it says troops from 10 other nations on the ground in the U.S. practicing putting down insurrection. And the Army Times admits it. I mean, Bob, this is out in the open.
That's fine. They're not going to go home, I'll tell you that.
Well, they're just going to acclimate us, though. Oh, look, the Chilean troops are here to help at a car wreck or help with a soup kitchen. You know, remember the Mexican troops at Katrina with a soup kitchen? It's all part of PR. I said I'd take calls for Bob Chapman, but we just ran out of time. So Mark, Stuart, Craig, Jim, Regina, Tim, Dave, I'm going to just get to all your calls when we start the next hour. We'll start the PrisonPlanet.tv transmission today with your phone calls. And then I'm going to get into other huge news of the day, like the private Federal Reserve. But I want to ask Bob about this before he leaves us so we can get his take on it, and then I'll cover it more coming up in the next hour. He's getting questioned yesterday before the House Banking Committee, and Ron Paul couldn't be there for some reason. Neither could Kucinich and others that asked pretty good questions. But it gets brought up that Congress investigate the Fed, and the Federal Reserve says, well, that'd be a takeover, a hijacking, like a coup d'etat by Congress. And also it would make the economy collapse. So financial terrorism, if you do this, everything will collapse. Ladies and gentlemen, when I saw that, we played it on Jason's show last night, I instantly called Aaron, and he posted the video and a quick article we wrote together. And it's up on Infowars.com right now. Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution states to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and a foreign coin, and to fix the standard of weights and measures. That's Article 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in Congress of the United States, which shall consist of all Senate and House representatives. And it goes on to say they're the sole power of this, of coining, issuing money, banking, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiters, the securities and current coin of the United States. That means in a real world, they would arrest the Federal Reserve. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, so they set up the courts. To define and punish pirates and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, so they should arrest the Federal Reserve on that. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisals, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. Congress runs the president and everybody else, but they're told by the private Fed to sit down and shut up. In closing, Bob Chapman, the internationalforecaster.com. How asinine is it to have Bernanke get up there and say Congress cannot be involved in any way in the issuance and control of currency and credit?
Well, it's outright, as you just expressed, via the Constitution, an outright lie. And it's another one of their threats. Bernanke lied when he was up there yesterday. Everybody knows it. And hopefully that will tell upon taking the bill out of the committee onto the House floor. In tomorrow's issue, and also a week from tomorrow, and that issue, I'll have a lot about the Federal Reserve. But what they're trying to give to the Fed here, which is ridiculous, is for the Fed to regulate everything in finance in the United States and be in partnership with Europe, for starters, in regulating all of the things that are done financially.
Yeah, global.
And right, and it's just nothing but a dictatorial power move right in the middle of a time when they're being attacked and people want to investigate them. And it is if people could only understand, I can only spend so much time in the air, but if people could only understand what these people are doing to them. We just went through this cap and trade thing, and now we're on to the Fed thing, and these are monstrous things that are being done to the American people. Right now, between now and September the 30th, the Fed is going to buy in the market from money made up out of thin air $3 trillion worth of U.S. Treasuries, agency securities, and toxic waste. Inflation's got to go absolutely ballistic.
And our tax money's paying for all that. Bob Chapman, we'll see you next Friday, theinternationalforecaster.com. Have a great weekend. Godspeed.
Thank you. Same to you, Alex. Bye-bye.
You bet.